Do you still have your very first amplifier? Do you wish you did? Well, I've still got mine, and I'll take you down memory lane with me today, right here on GearGasms. Hi everybody, welcome to GearGasms. I'm your host, Alan Barnes. Today, I'm taking you all the way back to the heydays of my youth. 1979 is when I got this amplifier. It was my very first real amplifier beside the Sears one that I had. It's a MARLBORO Soundworks. It's G20B. I don't know how much you've heard about those. Guys my age, we remember these. This was as basic as it came. Obviously, this isn't the original case that it was in. It was a combo with a single 10-inch speaker, I believe. I ended up blowing the speaker, wanted to keep the head, so I fashioned this very, very tidy case for it. But I played this for a really long time. It's a super basic sound. It's totally solid state. I have plugged it into powered on just to make sure it wouldn't blow me up. Don't want to die on camera, but other than that, we're going to jump into this video with both feet, not knowing where the hell we're going to land. But before we get into that, if you're new to the channel, I'd like to ask you to like and subscribe. If the YouTube guitar community is a toilet, then this channel is a skid mark, but that's okay. Skid marks give the toilet character. Since this video is coming out on Christmas Day, I know it's going to eat a big saucer full of dicks. I know it's going to eat a big bag of dicks. You know it's going to eat a great big Santa-sized sack of dicks. But that's okay. Happy holidays. We're going to plug this beast in and hear it together for the first time in many, many moons. I have no idea how it's going to go, but first, the data. Alrighty, here's what we've got. It's the G20B. Looking down the control, it's got treble, it's got bass, it's got volume, and two inputs. Guitar and bass. So whatever you were rocking back in the late 70s, early 80s, you could just plug it in here. Did I plug two things into it at one time before? Yes, I did. Did it suck? Yes, it did. Let's get into some of this fine craftsmanship you can see here. Never did put anything on the wood and it hasn't rotten. I decided to put my NASA stickers from NASA missions. Basically, see, I made this piece of garbage. I just put it in here as a head. All right, here's what we're going to do. I have not turned this thing on at all in many, many years. I've got it hooked up. I plugged it into the orange speaker cabinet because it's probably the cheapest speaker cabinet in case this goes wrong. I have powered it up a few months ago, but I have not actually plugged it into a speaker or plugged a guitar into it. So if this thing blows, it's going to be a short video, but it'll be funny. Let's leave the camera rolling while I'm doing this. Okay, are you ready? I've not set the mic levels either. And there's no power. This video is already going down in flames. Hang tight. All right. I found a working plug. For some reason it didn't like you to first plug. Let's do a level check. Turn it up. We obviously got us a scratchy pot there. All right, we're gonna rescue this segment. All right, we got this thing plugged in, and as you saw earlier, it just has volume, treble, and bass. There's no preamp in this thing, straight up solid state. It's not as bad as I remember it. Now that was my basic tone, and if that's your basic tone and that's all you got, that kind of sucks. Imagine it's 1980 and you're me and you're in a band and we're playing Free Bird. I can handle the verse. I can even kind of handle the pre-chorus. You see where I've gotten into trouble? That's the tone that sucketh. Of course, it's a little bit out of tune, but that doesn't make it more realistic. Back when you didn't even have a tuner and you had guitars that went out of tune all the time. But this is what it was like. That kind of sucked. You want to take a solo? Kind of lean. So that's kind of the bass tone that I had. That was all I had. It wasn't this exact guitar. It was another cheap Les Paul copy. I still have that too. It's a Cameo. It's up on the wall over there. I'll cut it in for you. If that's not bad enough, the next song in the set is Quiet Riot, Mental Health. Let me cue it up for you. That's not bad enough. Here's the next song. What if the next song in the set was something off this album? When we played it. Lose Yourself. Well, obviously that kind of sucks. So what's the first thing you do when you're a young kid and you got this rig? You got to get a dirt pedal. So I've got the magic pedal board behind me. I'll just casually turn around every once in a while and engage a pedal. First thing's a boost, kind of a tube screamer thing. That's something that a 15-year-old in 1980 might have been able to get his mitts on. The Green Beast. So that made things a little bit better. It gave you a little grease to put on your notes. You can... So now your rig doesn't suck quite so much, but what happens in the tube screamer, it doesn't really get you there for the high gain stuff still. You reach around behind you and you pull out a distortion pedal. The kind they used to use back in the day when men were men and steel was steel and germanium was germanium. Go back to the distortion and add some chorus to it, because the chorus was one of the first pedals I got besides the distortion, and it was the 80s and everybody was overusing it anyway, but man oh man, I used it on everything. Now that tone kind of sucks, but I would have kissed your sweet white ass for a tone that sounded that good in 1980. A phaser would have been extra cool to have back then. So you get what I'm saying. I'm really surprising myself. This thing is not nearly as bad as I remember it. Maybe I just needed some cool pedals. What other fun things can we put in here? How about a flanger? It's time for some jet flange. And just like this guitar is not tasteful, I am not tasteful. And you know damn well I wasn't tasteful at 15 years old. If I'd had those pedals to whip out, I'd have been putting them in just as hard mixed and as ugly as that. I don't have any delay or reverb that I can really show you because it's set up on my board to go through a loop, and this doesn't have one. And I ain't plugging in a bunch of damn cables. But yeah. My old friend Marlboro Soundworks is not really that bad. So what'd you think? Was it as bad as you expected? Was it worse? I was kind of surprised hearing it again after so many years. What did we learn today? We learned that sometimes you remember things as being much better than they were. Other times you remember things as being much, much worse. I got a little bit of both in that today with this amp, this trip down memory lane. We also learned that despite what I felt about this amp in the 80s when I was playing it, I thought it was pretty much a piece of shit and that it sucked and I hated it. I didn't have a bad amp. What I actually had was a good pedal platform. We also learned that with half a nutsack full of talent and with good intentions and a little bit of fiddling around and some fun pedals, you can actually make an old amp like this sound halfway decent. Whatever you do in the next 7 days, don't worry about hiding it from Santa because you got a whole year. He'll forget all about it. But make sure you play more guitar, watch less YouTube, and keep coming back here week after week for more GearGasms.